The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Hey everyone, Razzbowski here, and welcome back to Theory Thursday. As always, I'm with the boys, and we're going to be going over each one of the beautiful animatronics from the trailer and from the one teaser we've had as of recording. There's a lot to go over with each of the characters, so get those butts prepared. And who is with me today?
You have Ryan.
And other Brian. There it is.
And Dorco.
Yes, the boys are back in town, baby. If you're hyped for this episode, please hit that like button. That is really is appreciated. Let's push the boat out, baby, and shoot for 1,987 likes.
So guys, the order we're going to be discussing these animatronics is in which we see them in the trailer, and the first animatronic is actually Funtime Foxy. So this was a very interesting one because of course it seems to be from the same bloodline as Foxy, and we knew how he attacked and also the mangle. So guys, what do you actually think about Funtime Foxy?
I think what's very peculiar about the way that Scott's actually shown these animatronics off to begin with, just going off of Foxy to begin with, is in FNAF 2, if you remember, he did in the same style, like it was like slowly rotating around the animatronics, and they seem to be like frozen in time almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's a direct kind of link to FNAF 2. Obviously, we've debated in the past that they're like toy animatronics, and obviously in FNAF 2 there was the Mangle, but then again Mangle had two heads but looks just like Funtime Foxy. So is Funtime Foxy a different version of Mangle, or is it a new Foxy altogether? I have no idea. There's no way of knowing just yet, but it does look like Mangle in its entirety.
My point, I'm just going to jump straight in there, right in this very hot second. It moves, it separates, the head is different, and the whole body is, so it's got to be different. It's got the speaker in the middle of it. I know a lot of people might say, yes, we got the crackling sound with Mangle.
That's
that was
a good
like,
idea.
that was he, she, its that was its thing, that was its jam, if you will. It was that's how you could tell Mangle was in the vents, because you could hear the radio static, and that was the easiest way to prevent you from getting killed. But other than that similarity, then there aren't any. Yes, they're the same color, but as we discussed before, that could just be a stylized thing. We do have Funtime Freddy, which is the same color, so it's obviously a Sister Location special here. But the fact that the animatronics look like they are slightly more futuristic, they're definitely different in the way they move. We can see Mangle's head in its entirety, and we can see Funtime Foxy's head in its entirety, and it's different. I know FNAF World isn't canon, but Funtime Foxy there has a hook. This one doesn't. That's another point. This Funtime Foxy has two beautiful hands.
But the interesting thing at the same time is that Mangle has two hands. So this is where things can get easily misconstrued, I think.
It does. What are you doing?
It does have two hands. That's a good point.
But the difference is that there are very much big differences between this Funtime Foxy and Mangle. This Funtime Foxy has like hair in the middle of its head, and Mangle doesn't, or I've got it the wrong way around. This Funtime Foxy has freckles.
Yes, the
pink freckles. Mangle in FNAF 2 doesn't. They've got a different shaped head. They've got a different shaped hands as well. The hands are different. And it just looks different, and it would be interesting though that there was actually two Funtime Foxes at different locations, and maybe this one was actually legitimately at the FNAF 2 location, and it actually did get torn apart by kids, even though it seems a bit fishy still, and I want to get that solved still. But yeah, there are big differences between the two, and you never know. One, like Raz said, this one could be a boy. And the one in the FNAF 2 location could be a girl, so...
could you say potentially that, because obviously in FNAF 2 there was the old animatronics, there was Withered Freddy, Withered Bonnie, Withered Chica. Could you potentially say that Mangle is part of an older generation of the Mangle, and the Funtime Foxy could be a part of a toy generation? Almost?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Could be, definitely. There is so much up in the air at the moment. It's crazy, but the animatronics, I just keep coming back to the point. They look too new, and they look too more sophisticated. That's terrible language, but they look more sophisticated than the ones we know and love already.
I think the last thing that's interesting to think about as well is like FNAF 1 seems to be like the most modern one, because that seems to be like, 1987. It seemed like FNAF 2 was back in time, of course. We had like the Mangle with the two hands, but in FNAF 1 then we had Foxy with like one claw. So it's interesting to see that like Funtime Foxy has no relation to the whole pirate theme, even though it's literally the same animatronic.
Yeah.
So it could lead back to this thing being again a pre FNAF 1, so this could mean that they were before, and maybe we're back in time, and that's why they look so new. This could be like the new age of technology coming in. But it's still an interesting one, and it's highly up for debate. And I think just to end this one, which will actually be relevant for every single animatronic as well, it's interesting how each one has its own unique endoskeleton. Because before, like, you know, FNAF 1 endoskeletons, they were very strict. FNAF 2 were very strict. And now, like, this one, each one has just a different design all in all. And it's very strange. Like, I mean, if we do see the endoskeleton Easter eggs, there's going to be potentially 4 or maybe more of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, they are all designed differently, which is good. Interesting question while we're on the subject, because it is widely debated. Do you think this Funtime Foxy is male or female?
There's actually a point I was going to raise within this, but personally at the minute I feel it's going to be a female. I know a lot of people in the comment section are like, no, it's probably not, but I'm going with the sister location as the metaphor for these characters, also color scheme. And I mean, the most important thing is, guys, we've got a big friggin' voice box here. So the moment we get some gameplay, or like just some talking of these guys, we're going to know their gender instantaneously.
That's a very smart thing. Yeah, it's so true.
We know about, obviously, we don't know whose voice. I don't know, like the whole. I'm trying to think about this. It's really strange, because I agree with Ryan in the sense that sister location is probably a metaphor for them all being females or something like that. But it's like the way they look as well. Like they look very girly, like pink and white.
Yes.
And there's a ballerina. There's a little girl with pigtails coming out of her hair. I mean, they all look very girly. So I think personally that they will be female.
I think judging by the body shape, and yes, the coloring is pink and white, but I think this Funtime Foxy version is actually a male. It's very obvious that the other two, the Ballorina, Ballora, I think a lot of people have gone to calling her at the moment, has a very womanly shape, is very obvious, but she's a humanoid version, as is Baby right at the front. They're very, very obviously girls. It's very hard to tell a fox's sex without flipping it over, but from what we have seen, I think the shape, Foxy's shape is showing to be more male than female. Toy Chica was my example.
Yeah, but then you've got like Chica. What about the withered Chica? That's not got the thing.
Yes, I know. I totally get what you mean there, but it's kind of the toy generation and styling. So there are a couple of things that are for and against it, because I know a lot of people will comment about it, so I will say it. Toy Bonnie, yes, Toy Bonnie has eyelashes and is a male, but Funtime Foxy doesn't. And yes, Toy Chica has the sort of very, very feminine look, and Funtime Foxy does not. Yeah. I think it's a male. I think there are a couple of things in there, but until we get a voice, we don't know. I just think it's an interesting point to raise. I like me some controversy.
I like the voice idea. That's definitely going to help. I definitely think the FNAF 2 Funtime Foxy is a girl, because if it's the one with the hook, obviously, because in FNAF World you see doing this. It's the same as Toy Chica, right? But like you said, this one doesn't have a hook, so it's obviously not the same one. I wouldn't know what to say, honestly. I don't know. I can't.
That's cool.
I'm in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way to be. I mean, you won't get any conflict, and you're very open at the minute, so yeah.
The next animatronic we actually come to in the trailer is Ballora, and I personally believe this is the most mysterious animatronic. Well, I wouldn't even say animatronic, it's more humanoid robot, obviously, because it's not an animal, and, you know, it's crazy because loads of people are thinking, why are her eyes closed? There's something very, very peculiar about this ballerina. There's something horrifying about her, but you just can't put your finger on it just yet. What do you guys think?
So yeah, the most obvious thing about Ballora is the fact that her eyes are always shut. So you know, I could spend some time discussing that, but what I'm actually going to be talking about is some things that the animatronic has in the background that might signify when she might be coming for you, to give you like a hint. If you actually look on her kind of lower half, on the skirt she's wearing, there's like these small little dangly bells, and I think maybe yeah, I think it might be some form of unique like ringing, and can you imagine that like echoing down a corridor? Like,
and you hear like little jingling.
Their eyes are open and they're black.
Some kind of laugh, and you hear like a music box thing in the background as she dances, and you hear the jingling moving left to right.
Like a waltz song or something.
Yes.
You can already see with the way she's posing when they're all on the stage together that she's doing these very, very graceful poses. So it's going to be interesting to see how she functions in the game. I think she's going to move very, very quickly. Obviously, Foxy has that mechanic normally with the rushing, but I think it's going to be very graceful, very quickly. Blink and you miss it. I think the bells, like Ryan said, the bells are going to be the things that you hear. She could quite easily leap like a ballerina does from place to place, and obviously you're not going to hear footsteps then, are you? All you can hear is the jangling of the bells. A further thing that I want to talk about is Mini-Rena. If you remember back to when the names got leaked on the copyright website, one of them was Mini-Rena. So you have Ballora, Mini-Rena, put it together is Ballorina. So I think these two are going to come as some sort of pair. I've tried to look at her body as much as I can without delving into Rule 34 anyway. And I've tried to look to see if there's any place that the Mini-Rena could be. I tried to look up the skirt. Yes, I know you dirty birds out there. But I was trying to see if there's any place. There's no places in her chest either to open up. I did try and have a look there, but potentially somewhere somebody can be. I'm not seen particularly behind her, so you never know.
What about, this just literally sprung to mind, what about if when her eyes open, it's like a split personality? She becomes this different character.
Maybe.
With a different name. I mean, there's an endoskeleton underneath. When her eyes open, the whole face might be permanently open, so it might be like, you know, the alter personality, bringing that Mini-Rena name out.
That could be good.
I was thinking like a music box. That's what ballerinas usually are in, aren't they? So think about FNAF 2 with the puppet. You had to control a music box to keep the puppet in. So what if there's some kind of like ballerina music box? This is what Mini-Rena is, probably the soundtrack of her. When it goes off, she kind of comes out to play almost.
Very interesting, because they do like, they say like, you know, that he likes the music box. There's no explanation why again. That's really, that's a good point. This might actually give potential backstory on the puppet as a character.
There was a really awesome fan theory what I noticed on one of my YouTube videos. Sadly, I can't find it because it was on my Things You Missed video, and the comments are just like all over the place, and I tried to look for it and I wasn't able to find it. But you know who you are, so thank you very much for this theory. There was a theory that Ballora is actually represented by like a demon, because there's a demon in lore who has an eye what's always shut, and when it opens, death.
It's like the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
And I think the name of the demon was very similar to the name Ballora. It was something like Laura or something. So they're very, very similar, and it just thinks of like what, like, because it's always has its eyes closed, like what the jump scare is going to be like, or if it's going to be a mechanic where when she opens her eyes at some point, like it's just like scary and horrifying and just instant death.
A lot of people have been saying this, but I think she's going to be the scariest one.
Yes, 100%.
I think a lot of people have said it's the most scariest because it's the most human-like.
As
well.
Exactly.
And we all know, like, things creepy. If something's not supposed to look human, but it does.
The Uncanny Valley, isn't it?
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, the Uncanny Valley, like, you see these dolls and stuff, and like they start and they're like talking and stuff. You know it's a robot, and you're like, no, that doesn't feel like. You see these things in Japan where they've created like these crazy models, and they're like presenters, and you just say like, it just doesn't sit right. And I think that's the thing with Ballora, because if you look as well at like the Desolate Hope, this model reminds me a lot of the things that you'd see in there. You know what I mean, with like the face and stuff.
Okay, so next up we have Funtime Freddy. That beautiful guy is back once again, but is he really a guy?
So yeah, as I mentioned before, I was going to raise this one most importantly with the Funtime Freddy character. We do have the voice box on the chest, so until we actually hear voices, I don't really want to comment too much on the gender of this animatronic, if you can even have a gender inside of a friggin' robot. But what I will comment on is the fact that we've got like this second hand puppet, and that's the most important thing I want to talk about, because this doesn't have a voice box, meaning how will we know when it's crawling about? And I mean, we see a sequence in the trailer where we're crawling through a vent, so what about if that little puppet also makes its way through that potentially? Maybe we can hear the thumping.
It's a good idea that the puppet could like come off the hand and like roam around itself. But I think it will have a voice, because a ventriloquist, it plays the voice of it. So maybe Freddy will have a voice, but it also plays the voice as the puppet, like the puppet doll. So he could go like, his voice could be like, "Hey guys, I'm Freddy," and then the puppet could be like, "I'm Bunny."
Yeah, I got what you're
Know
saying.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
I
separate
get you.
voices, but it's still Freddy.
Yeah.
No, I was just thinking, because we thought about this with the Freddles, if you remember. We thought that they're going to be getting away and running, causing mischief.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah,
we,
remember that,
we thought that maybe like they would mess up. So, technically, we were right.
We were close. We were very close.
Like,
Yeah.
it could work potentially like for example, that little puppet distracts you whilst the Freddy moves forward. So, for example, it messes up with your camera system. You try and fix it. And when you turn around, flipping Freddy's there screaming in your face. It could work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're just flipping through the cameras. You go from camera 6,
everything's fine, go to camera 9, and there's just a puppet in the screen.
Yeah, this is what I
and you can see the hand.
Yeah.
Another thing that's interesting is what's underneath the hand. That underneath the puppet, I mean, is there going to be an actual hand there, or is there going to be something different? Yeah. I'm inclined to believe there's just going to be a hand, but it's something just extra to think about there.
I think it might be more of like an element of how this thing might kill you. For it could be loose screw, something sharp. Could open up a new weapon.
Ah, yeah.
It could be interesting.
I've got just had a brainstorm there. You know how Mangle had the second head there? What if that was indeed like hand to hand, and that was actually a ventriloquist puppet as well? So maybe like it wouldn't be a hand underneath; it'll be built in with the machine kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just the hand and the head there as well, but it kind of detach itself.
I got you. Yeah.
It is very interesting because of the 3 characters we've discussed already, they've all got separate things that make them unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I think Scott's got a lot of scope here to go with jump scares and making them very unique. We've already talked about their endoskeletons being different. The jump scares are potentially going to be different because I know a lot of people, they're like, Scott's just using the same one over and over again. These ones look like they're going to each have their individual ones, which is just straight up sweet.
So the final animatronic is, of course, Baby, the main leader of the gang by the looks of it. So what are your thoughts on it?
Well, the first thing I thought is, like, of course she's going to be the main protagonist of the establishment because, like, I was thinking about, it was almost like it feels metaphorical. It's probably not, and it's probably just, like, symbolism more than anything. It looks like a media student, but the way the camera kind of slow pans in, you see all the guys in the background, like, oh, look at me, I'm a Ballora, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm Foxy talking away, I've got the puppet hand. And all Baby does is just a little pan up. She doesn't need to do anything to grasp the audience attention, and she remains in the shadow because, like, whilst all these guys are trying to get the attention, all she has to do, lift her head up, and the camera's fully focused on her. So she is the priority no matter what happens here, and she's going to have the biggest impact in some form or another.
Definitely.
Yeah, she's going to be like the next Freddy Fazbear, most definitely. And I think she's going to have some kind of control on how these guys all kind of act, I reckon. I reckon she's going to be like the godfather, if you will, but the fairy godmother. I don't know what the term will be. Godmother? Yeah,
potentially,
that. And I don't know, it's like what we've seen of the game so far, it's kind of hard to tell how it's going to play, even if there will be a camera system or not, because the way it looks at the minute, we've seen no camera system at all, so it makes you think how Baby's going to impact this whole, I don't know, it's strange because like these other characters, they seem to have these what look like unique attacks or something like that, Ballora with the eyes, Funtime Foxy with the hook, obviously Freddy with the flipping puppet. All Baby has is literally just a microphone, and that's it, pretty much, from all I can tell.
You've got that crazy jump scare we saw at the end. And whether that's going to be the finished one, but she, like, it was like proper. It would be up in your grill, going from side to side. She has seen some stuff in her life, and I think that's going to be explained in the story. She's well, I think we suspect it's her that's talking in the trailer. It's not 100% proven, but we already know they're saying don't hold it against us, and you don't know what we've been through. So it's quite nice and fitting with that jump scare we see at the end, how manic she actually is. And going back to what you were saying, Ryan, with that she's the main focal point there. She's right in the front, center stage. If you go back to Five Nights at Freddy's World Update 2, spoilers if you haven't played it, so disappear. The ending, obviously, she's the one that says, the show's about to start, please remain in your seats. The person that's going to take the lead is the one that's saying that as well. So she's definitely going to be the Freddy Fazbear of this establishment, which is interesting to see how the hierarchy's changed.
Yeah.
Obviously, to keep the Freddy Fazbear named Freddy's there in Funtime Freddy form, but he's more Funtime Freddy as opposed to Business Freddy now. So she already is striking enough to say that perhaps she has a more strong personality, a stronger character than any of the rest that we've seen already.
Yep. Yeah, in the FNAF World Update 2, you hear a voice, and it is very similar to the trailer voice.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just interesting in Update 2. She kills Scott. She kills the creator.
She's strong, man. She's very strong.
And she's got a big meaning. I mean, you'd think like Freddy would kill him or something. Not a brand new character who we've never seen before in our lives. So she's definitely important. She'll definitely have a very big story in this game, I think, because this is the first time we've heard voices in any of the FNAF games, serious voice acting, and I definitely think she's important.
Yeah, I think a final thing as well I want to close on is just something that we don't know what it will have in terms of an impact to the gameplay. But if you look on her arm, she seems to have these strange, like, pins. Yeah, with little balls on them. So what these have in relation to anything else, who knows? It might be a way for an endoskeleton to attach, even though it wouldn't really make sense, but these might be like little ball joints. It might be like, I don't know, the only thing I can literally think of is maybe electricity flowing between them. As like maybe if she is like a circus stunt, you know, just to get the crowd going wow sort of thing. So that could be a thing, but again, it's so mysterious. You just don't know at the minute.
The pins seem to be symmetrical.
Yes.
So some people were saying like it could be like a voodoo doll or something where she's putting pins on her, but they're symmetrical. So I don't know whether she's got OCD or something. She wants to put them in symmetry. It could be decoration because like Ballora'S skirt has the same like a line and a ball. It could be just decoration things or something. Who knows?
Another way to make noise, sort of thing,
I was thinking, like, further going off her appearance, I think that she looks very much like a ringleader of the circus. And the fact that she says, "Everyone, please stay in your seats," that's what the people do when you go to a circus. You'll hear a voiceover of the actual like ringleader of the circus saying, "Can everyone remain in their seats? You know, if you need food, quickly go get it now." So it's like, I don't know. I reckon she's going to play that kind of role, like a ringleader almost.
Yeah, it does sound very interesting. I can't wait to find out the significance of her name as well. Baby is she's not an infant by any way, shape, or form. She's not an old woman, but she ain't a kid as well. So she's potentially between the age of maybe 6 and about 12, judging by appearance. But she's definitely not a baby. So the significance of the name is going to be really interesting as well.
The thing is, though, this like. Do you think this baby story is just going to add on to the FNAF story? Or in the game somewhere, we're going to get something, please, just something solved or something like clues to the old story? Because we still haven't solved that part yet. And I know it's cool to add stuff on, like the baby story, but I want him to, like, because we've all said that baby's similar to that FNAF 4 girl. It'd be really cool if you could fit that into, like, the old story, because I want to get stuff solved, please.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it is going to add to the story, just mainly for the reason that back in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, on one of the tapes, there was obviously the incident at the Sister Location. So I think we're obviously going to see what these events potentially were, whether it's through flashbacks or through audio cues from the animatronics. I think we're going to see what happened there, which is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the way you've got to see this as well, guys, is that, you know, we had 4 Five Nights at Freddy's games, and I don't think Scott's going to just wrap the whole Sister Location thing up in one game. So I think what's going to happen is what we're going to get is a link between the two so that they coincide in some way or another. We may get answers to the main FNAF story because, as, you know, the guys have said, there's still things left completely uncovered that we really want to know answers to, and it just, you know, if he didn't answer them, it'd be like, what? But I think what he's going to do is he's going to answer some, and then also bring this story in on the side, so that by the end of this one, whilst we've got more answers answered for the FNAF storyline, we're also going to have new ones open up for the Sister Location.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the 3rd episode of Theory Thursday. If you did enjoy it, then please hit that like button. It really, really is appreciated. And make sure you go and check out the boys' channels. Each one of them will be in the description below. Hey, if you have points you would like to address with us, then pop them down in the comment section below, along with a theory for next week. If you have one, obviously. Thank you very much to the theories we had last week. They're all fantastic, and we did enjoy reading them. But either way, guys, I've been Razzbowski. These are the boys, as always, and we all love each and every single one of you. Goodbye!